The Illusionists is back on Broadway, running now at the Marquis Theater. This year's rendition features 5 magicians, Adam Trent, Darcy Oak, Chloe Crawford, Colin Cloud, and Shin Lim, who garnered attention as the winner of this year's America's Got Talent competition. The show also features the dance troupe Light Balance, which uses electronically animated costumes to create its own kind of magic in motion. Even with its technology and new age style, The Illusionist connects to a tradition of live large-scale magic shows. With 5 magicians in the company, it showcases a variety of styles and approaches. In fact, each of the magicians we spoke to at a recent preview of the show had a different perspective on the impact they hope their magic has on the audience.
But it's mostly about kind of the flow. That's really all I care about when I'm creating an act. I really care about how the routine flows together. It's not about how powerful it is or how amazing it can be. Sometimes I throw away like amazing ideas just because I feel like it would disrupt the flow of the act. And so, yeah, that's what really goes on in my mind when I'm creating these things.
Can you talk at all, I don't know how specific you would want to be, but about how you develop some of the pieces that you do?
Yeah, sure. Well, a lot of it I kind of want it to feel like a movie. Whenever people watch my act, that was kind of like my main goal when I kind of first started, like around year 3 of doing magic, because I love film and movies. And so when I was starting to create actual routines, like 5-minute routines, I felt, okay, I want them to feel like they're experiencing something cinematic. And so every routine I've created since then has had that kind of base like theme.
What do you want your audience to feel when they see you perform?
So a lot of the bits that I design, I start with what do I want the audience to be doing or feeling in it. So, for example, I do this thing with paper balls where everyone in the audience throws paper balls. It means I run around the audience with a helmet on and everyone throws paper balls in my helmet. And then it ends with a prediction. But that whole act started with, I just want the whole audience to be able to stand on their feet and throw something at me. It was almost like giving the audience permission to throw tomatoes at a performer. I thought it'd be a joyous moment to run around and have everyone throw stuff at me. So that was, kind of how that trick began. And then, so I went through this whole thing of, okay, well, everyone gets a piece of paper, they come in, we're all going to crumple in a ball, I'm going to run around with this ridiculous thing, and they're all going to throw it at me. That was all I had. And then, at the end, it was like, okay, and how can I tie this into a trick at the end? But yeah, it certainly starts with, I want the audience to feel joy. I want them to feel this moment where they get to do this thing that isn't allowed in the theater.
Each piece is designed to evoke a different response or different emotion from the audience, and I think that's that's part of the artistry in the craft. Is for me, it's never to go out there and be like, look at how amazing I am, look what I can do. It's like, look at me because of what I can give to you, kind of thing. You're giving them an experience. You're giving them a forever memory, a lifetime memory that they're going to walk away from. Because everybody has that memory of this one magician they saw one time way back in the day who did this thing. Literally everyone. Like, oh, I saw this guy one time who did this thing on the street, and blah, blah, blah. And people remember that forever, and I think that's the important thing to remember, is that we're creating lifelong memories for these people and not to take that for granted.
I want them to have an amazing experience watching me live. I want their minds to be blown. I hope the stuff I do is it's the closest thing to real mind reading. So obviously it's not real mind reading, but the techniques that I have created, use and utilize, I think make it look like it could be real. If a psychic stood on stage and did what I do and said, this is psychic, I want it to be so good that people would believe them. So I don't really say anything, but I focus on making it fun, funny, entertaining, challenge the way people think. But ultimately, it is a show called The Illusionists, and I think, I only ever now perform on a stage. I don't do anything off stage at any point. I keep it there so people know that's where I do this stuff.
I was very picky about the magic I wanted to learn. There's certain things that I just don't enjoy performing or seeing. So I was like, okay, what do I want the audience to feel? What do I want them to see? What do I want to put out there? And I was like, I want to do something different. I don't want to stick with the normal things that people would expect me to do. Because, I think people see me and go, oh, she's going to be really girly and do all this like cutesy stuff. I'm like, I want to do completely the opposite, which when you see the show, you'll see that I do some rather gross things and creepy things, and I'm more about shocking people than anything else. I love that. I love when people are like, oh my God, is she really going to do that?
Chloe Crawford is the only woman in the company. We wondered if she felt that finally more women are finding their place in magic.
I definitely think there is, especially now. There's so many young girls getting into magic now. It's surprising. You go to magic conventions or to magic shops and there's usually at least a couple of girls there, which is so great. I'm so happy that that's happening. But yeah, for me, there were no women in magic for me to look up to when I was little, especially in England. So I looked up to people like Marilyn Monroe, Pamela Anderson, very strong, powerful businesswomen who were beautiful and multi-talented. So it was different, but I still had that, just not in magic. But I hope that, you know, with what I'm doing and putting out that I can inspire some young girls to be the next illusionists in the future.
Performing in a company of magicians is a different experience than what is typical for many conjurers.
Yeah, absolutely. Every one of us is more or less a solo performer in their own right. Normally, that's what a magician is. They have their own show, and to bring together the best of the best into one show is something that's so unique and rarely happens, which is what makes the show so exciting.
I mean, do you guys sit backstage and say, "Hey, look at this new coin thing I'm working on," or is it not really like that?
No, all the time. Yeah, and that's what's so awesome about a show like this is that, you know, in the downtime, everyone's throwing ideas back and forth and being creative, and we all eat, sleep, and breathe the art form. So to have 5 of us together for this amount of time, it stems creativity and productivity, and it's an amazing environment to be in.
I mean, the people in the show, I mean, some of them have been good friends of mine for a number of years now. So yeah, absolutely. It's really, I think it's great when you're friends with each other. You get that energy backstage where you can support each other, you can wind each other up in a really fun, playful way. It just keeps it exciting. It keeps you energized. And it means when you, obviously the show, people come on and off stage throughout, it just helps keep the energy up throughout. So that when we go back on, you know, you're still in that mindset of performing and wanting to give the audience the best experience they possibly can have.
When the first company of The Illusionists appeared in New York in 2014, it had been 18 years since a magic show ran on Broadway. Now it seems as if interest in magic is surging and that it's appealing to a whole new audience.
I mean, I think when people see good magic, they want to see more good magic, and there's been a lot of good magic on television. You know, America's Got Talent has done a great job of featuring great magicians and showing it in a great way. And there's been great magic shows around. You know, you guys have residency shows here in New York that are great, and The Illusionists have done very well here on Broadway. So I think that, you know, when something works, it just it fuels an appetite for more.
Well, I think it's just, you know, with the day and age that we live in, with the internet and the content that you can consume, and you can go on YouTube, and you can, like, back when I started, YouTube wasn't a thing. So I remember going to the library. I remember sending away for these VHS tapes. You know, they would mail to my house. I would watch these VHS tapes over and over. And but now the access to watching good magic is way quicker, and it's way easier. And I think that's why the art form has sort of come more into the forefront of you know, entertainment, where it's now, I think it's taken more seriously than it used to be. Like, you used to think a magician was in a top hat and a tailcoat, and now it's, you know, you can see the best of the best on YouTube anytime you want, and then you can come see it live now too. So it's amazing.
I really hope it's not just a cycle, and I really hope it keeps going up. I really want it to, and I'm gonna try my best to showcase it as much as I can on TV or you know, wherever it can, or on Broadway, you know, to show like different sides of magic. And I think The Illusionist is such a great opportunity for people to watch a different side of magic, because a lot of this stuff is new and kind of unique, and people haven't really seen it before.
The opportunity to experience The Illusionist Magic of the Holidays lasts until December 30th. For more information, you can go to illusionistlive.com. And for more news from the New York magic scene, keep your browser tuned to herbsmagic.com.